why is college such a good pathway, compared to what it was, maybe 20 years ago? Why is now become such a important pathway for a lot of juniors to maybe start their full-time progression into professional tennis as opposed to just going pro straight off the bat?
Mhm. My opinion is, I don't think kids, even if their games are at a level to potentially turn pro, I don't think they're ready, mature from a standpoint of off the court. There's so much that goes off the court. What we see on TV is, in my opinion, not realistic. We see the big courts, we see the stands full, we see, oh, let's look up their prize money, and we see these things, but behind closed doors, we're not seeing a path on how to get there.
Mm.
And my thought is, I don't know how it is in Australia today, but in the US, kids are playing high school tennis, which is okay at some points in time from a standpoint of competition. And then they're playing tournaments, if not every weekend, every other weekend. Some of them are going off to UTR events, which is leading into college. And then from college, believe it or not, a lot of these kids are stopping. So they get to the college point and they're in a direction of, all right, this is my make it or break it 2, 3, 4 years. But for those guys that continue out of college, they're playing, up to 72 matches in the 4 years. And that's a great stepping stone to move into the pros because you're playing matches week after week. If you have a schedule of 30 weeks for the year, you better get used to playing 3, 4, 5 matches a week and trying to back them up. And I think that's what the college platform does for the kids. It gives them not only team camaraderie, because as we know, tennis is an individual sport, but you're training with 8 to 10 guys or girls that are from all around the world. So that exposure of learning how to deal with people from Germany, from different parts of Europe, from Australia, from South Africa, from China, the 75% of college tennis players is made up from international kids. So the US is the one hosting tennis through the college system, but only they say 20 to 23% of Americans are actually playing Division 1 tennis at this point in time, which I find is crazy. But tennis as a whole in America is huge.
Yeah,
So I just think from a standpoint of a kid coming, let's use example Australia. Some kid in Melbourne, Australia, who's got a decent ranking of 20 or 30 in the country, and he's like, you know what? I do want to play professional tennis. I do want to see where I can take this. The college platform would be ideal for someone like that, just to see, rather than going and choosing to play the challenger circuit, all these UTR events where you win a match, you go home, you lose a match, you go home type thing. You're getting a constant team environment. You have a coach. You get these guys to train that can push you. You're not really comparing to each other, even though you're fighting for spots on the team, but it's more of a team environment. And I think that's important for tennis, like I said earlier, because it's such an individual thing and it can get lonely out there, and everyone's heard that. But to live through it like I did, it's honest. It does get lonely out there.
That's a great point. Obviously, the couple of few points you spoke about was, when we watch on TV, it's unrealistic what we're seeing as, whether we're junior players watching or parents, we're seeing the top echelon of players that are making probably money out of the game that, it's unrealistic with the big crowds and so forth. And, you've played obviously some futures, some satellites and these sorts of things when you were growing up and, you're at the back streets of wherever you are playing and there's no one around and, it's just the players and maybe a couple of staff, and that's about it, and maybe a referee. But it's quite lonely and quite isolated. And the college platform, like you said, I think the one thing that a lot of our players are missing, coming through junior tennis is enough matches. We really struggle, in
Mm-hmm.
particular in this country, to find enough matches. You go and play a tournament, you lose first round, you're out, or you lose second round, you're out, and we don't have a system at the moment that is conducive to getting players to play enough matches and enough quality matches at that as well. So, we sort of talk a lot about, your first round or two, you're playing, some lower ranked players, you don't really get the quality of match. You then get into the quarters or semis, you play one good guy or one good girl and the match is over and you're out and then that's it. You get that one quality match. But, you know, as you know, in the States where college is pretty competitive, you know, the teams are, you know, out there to beat you and, you know, their teammates are behind them. So you never get that sort of easy couple of matches here or there. It's generally pretty high quality matches right the way through. So it definitely is a great pathway and something that, you know, we both encourage, I guess, you know, players to take that leap of, you know, before they play pro to get some really good quality matches through the college system.